All right. Shalom, 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 y'all. It's Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat. Um, Definitely have a good show for you today. As you could tell by the title, we're talking about the attack on manhood. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go into a quick put like a slide thing up here. Um, Show you what was the motivating factor for this show. Hold on one second. Okay, I'll just checking my audio on here. Audio sounds great. So we're gonna press on, and you're gonna see why I titled this show as such. Uh, so let me do a quick screen share here. And where is my tab? So check this out, y'all. What you see there is this is I have two news sources actually. This is one of them. Let me see if I can, should be a way for me to make this full screen. Nope. So I won't. Let me see if I can. There we go. All right. So what you see here is this is American Conservative. So this is some news article. And this is old. A lot of y'all, some of y'all might have seen this already. But we're going to go through it. So I'll read it to you. Okay. It says the American Conservative, I guess that's the website, the news website. It says manhood as a mental disorder. Okay. It says the main thrust of the subsequent research in that tradition is that traditional masculinity marked by stoicism, competitiveness, dominance, and aggression is on the whole harmful. Men socialized in this way are less likely to engage in healthy behaviors. Okay. So we're going to go in more. So this next article here is USA Today. Okay. Talking about the same thing that's going on. It says psychologists call traditional masculinity harmful, face uproar from conservatives. They face uproars from real men. That's what they're facing uproars from. But check this out. It says, for the first time in its history, the American Psychological Association issued guidelines to help clinicians improve the health of boys and men. Listen, declaring aspects of traditional masculinity harmful. The report, backed by more than 40 years of research, triggered fierce backlash from conservatives, critics who say American men are under attack. Okay, so this is now this article and this thing came out in 2019. You could bet they are far ahead with this thing now. So what they're doing is they're trying to get traditional masculinity added into the DSM-5, which the DSM-5 is the psychologist's basically handbook for evaluating mental disorder. As you know, they removed homosexuality from the DSM-5 as a mental disorder. It was in there for the longest. And now they're saying masculinity competitiveness, aggressiveness. You know what I'm saying? The, they are trying to. You see what I'm saying? You see the agenda. You see the situation and what's going on, like how they are pushing, like the transformer movement and all that stuff like that. And you can see the long-term ramifications of what they're pushing. You see it on the horizon. You know, they there's a you know there's a like ego. We don't want to, like, they act like ego is such a bad thing, to have an ego. Oh, he hold on, offend his macho ego. I got an ego. I'm macho. I'm masculine. I'm confident. I'm aggressive. I go after stuff. I'm all about conquering stuff. And you're trying, and in doing that, you see the fruit that men, healthy men pointed in the right direction, who have ego, who are macho, who are aggressive, who are competitive. You see the benefits of what that brings. One of the brothers in here put the lion. That's right. That's how lions are. They fight to the death. They're aggressive. They just keep attacking. You know what I'm saying? The spirit of Joshua and King David. You know what I'm saying? Where all Israel was on that hill scared, and King David, with his confidence in Yah, came down off the hill and went to war. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just amazing. Now, with me, like, I don't get too angry about this, because what it does, it makes me more valuable. I'm rare. You know what I'm saying? And a aggressive, confident man who doesn't walk around in a spirit of fear, cowering, because that's what they're trying to make. If they take your ego, if they take your competitiveness, if they take your aggressiveness, somebody put in the comments, what did they just make you into? What did they turn you into? What are you now? And then when you look, and you look at the agenda, you look at the movies and everything. You look at what's going on in the movie industry now. It's every, if something is a clear, like in the movies, if it's a clear masculine role, that they're putting women in it now. Thor was always a man. Now they got a female Thor. Hulk used to be, the Hulk. Now they got a female Hulk. Okay, you name it. Star Wars used to be Luke and Darth Vader and all that. Now, if you've seen the last couple ones, it's female Hulks. Or in Star Wars, it's a bunch of women running the show in Star Wars, in the last Star Wars. Where's it going to end? Well, it's not going to end well. Let me turn the notifications off on my phone so that's not making noise. It's not a distraction. Okay, and I can stay focused. So, and what the whole agenda is the agenda is divide and conquer. And if you get the man out of his role and you get the woman out of her role, you've destroyed the family. And then you destroy the family, you destroy the society. When people are not in the traditional roles, they said 40 years of research. Okay. But what has worked from the dawn of time? You know what I mean? What has worked for the the majority of, you know what I'm saying? All societies that have flourished. Okay, it's just, I mean, they're looking at 40 years and of what would I call the research? Bias research, I guess, versus thousands of years or whatever of evidence of what you see works. Okay. Um, so, uh, and you don't even need 40 years. You could just look around you and see when there's a family and the man is in his biblically masculine role, or when men just refuse to cower to this attack on manhood, and they maintain their masculinity in a twilight zone society, um, you see the benefits. You see the fruit being yielded. You see healthy children being reared. And when the man gets out of his role and the woman gets out of her role, you see the fruit that's brought forth. And it's a freak show. It's a freak show. And like I said, the attack is the attack is in full swing. It's And when I say the attack, and I know a lot of people would disagree with me on this, but it's not a it's not a structured, organized attack by any group of people or by any government or man or anything like that. It's in the spirituals. It's biblical. It's written in the word. Satan from the very beginning has been trying to usurp and switch around what the Most High has put in place. And it's just, hey, we're coming to the end of times, and it's becoming evident. You know what I'm saying? We're in the end times, and things are beginning to get basically flipped totally upside down. But somebody has to stand in the gap. Somebody has to not cower to the pressure of the societal norm, or the, what would you call it? For lack of a better word, yeah, the societal norm, this new normalcy, that they're trying to cram down everybody's throat. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to stand firm and stay grounded. All right. Now let me see. Got some. So what we have to do is continue to stand firm, because at the end of the day, like when it comes to dealing with women and being a biblically masculine man, look, at the end of the day, this society can do all the brainwashing they want. They can push their crazy agenda as hard as they want, but at the end of the day, you not gonna come against Yah's laws, the written laws in his law, statutes, and commandments in his word, or the physical laws that he has built into his creation that you cannot come against it. You're not gonna change the laws that the Most High Yah has built into this creation. Evident. Prove it, Mike. Let's go with the UFC. Did any of y'all see what happened when that transform a woman said, hey, I identify as a woman. And she went into the UFC and she was wearing these women out. That thing, that transformer went in there and was like breaking the orbital eye socket, like wearing women, like beating women, dude, in the UFC. Y'all go look that thing up. It was, like, yeah, you know, the truth will set you free. Um, uh, the Most High's creation testifies of Him. You know what I'm saying? Type deal. You couldn't get around it. It was like, yo, somebody get that man out of there beating them women like that on live television, on mainstream television. It's like, what are y'all, stupid? It's like, you're not going to get around that. They talk about the women in combat. You remember that thing I played for y'all? I played this thing where Lath Babbitt was talking about, that. And he laughed at it. And I know people get pissed. Oh, people who subscribe to the feminist agenda or to the whole Me Too agenda and we're equal, men, women, equal agenda thing going on. And that guy got on there and laughed at it because he's been in real combat. And man, that video was so, man, that video is so good. I'm gonna bring it right now. We're gonna play it. Okay. The reality, Lath Babbitt, the realities of war, where he really broke down how real this thing is, like combat. And the reason why you have to come to combat is because when it comes to combat, everything matters. Like, you have to be the best. You have to be the most, like, every little bit counts. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, no, we're not created equal. And just because we're not created equal, and just because the man is designed to be the head, just because, hey, this is the head, doesn't mean the head is better than the butt. Because it doesn't mean, no, because if the butt stops doing its job, the whole body's gonna die. You see what I'm saying? No, certain body parts are very important. Some have least important or less important, but you can't, just because something is more or less important doesn't mean something is better than something else. Those are two totally different things. And that's where I think things have gotten twisted up at, where they think, oh, but I watch a lot of insecure men. They won't submit to a leader because they feel like, oh, well, that's just saying he better than me as a man and all this stuff. No, it just, that's his position in the body. And your position is this: do it with excellence. You can't be a good athlete if you got weak ass legs, but all the coordination in the world, but your legs is weak and jacked up. You ain't gonna be a good athlete. That's me. That's me here. I got the coordination here and the head to be a good basketball player, but I always had weak legs. So hey, guess what? I ain't gonna be the best soldier in the world or the best athlete in the world. But you see some people out there, man, it's all good. You see what I'm saying? But you do your position the best you can. And then what? The body is going to function better. But if my feet are sitting there saying, oh, y'all, with y'all hands think y'all better than us, or let's say my hands is talking to my feet saying, oh, because this is the equivalent of this whole male female equality crap. Okay, it's two different things. It might look similar, but they're different. Okay, so you got uh, some hands talking about, oh, we could do what the feet do. We got heels too, and we got 5 digits too, and ours are longer. So whatever the feet could do, the hands could do too. Okay, get your ass down there, do a handstand, and see if you can walk a mile. And I guarantee you're gonna figure out that you wasn't made for that. And that's the point. People got to resist this silly stupidness out here. Get in your role so the body can do what it needs to do. You see what I'm saying? So that's how this whole thing breaks down, man. That's how and this stuff they're putting out. Let me put it up here again so y'all can see this. All right, hold on. Let me see. Oops. Let me get it back up here. Or see if I can. Some reason. Oh, okay, I see what I gotta do. I'm still learning. But let me get it back up here. Add to stream. There we. All right. So yeah. So it's like what you men have to do is, man, y'all got to spot this, silliness, and it's a lot of um people who lack wisdom buy into all this stuff. You know, where, like I said, the traditional masculinity that has worked forever, you know what I'm saying, is now regarded as unhealthy. It's bad for your health. But like Ice Cube said in that video, uh, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, because in your it's bad for your health. You know what I'm saying? You remember I can't repeat that on here. The algorithms will block this all the way out. But so like this society, this is not bad for your health to try tinker around with your hormones and mess with all this stuff and get this cut off and turned into this and all this. And then you look at the suicide rate at it of people who live that lifestyle. You look at the suicide rate, you look at the murder rate. You see what I'm saying? Those numbers are out there. Like, I got shows that I've done in the past where I put those numbers out there, and it is insane. Like in those types of relationships with men and stuff like that, dude, the suicide rate and the murder rate and the infidelity rate is out of this world. The life expectancy on that thing is like 38 or 40 years old or something. I mean, it's, the thing is obvious, but with this thing here, man, we can't bend or break to this. And the reason I'm saying that is multiple reasons. The reason you can't bend or break to this agenda out here to go against the laws that the Most High built into his creation that he made, that you can't go against. The reason why you got to just stay firm and stay in the faith, stay faithful on it, is because there is fruit to be yielded from just staying locked in and anchored in your masculinity and in your biblical masculinity. Where when it to a point where it comes for dealing with women, you are not gonna get around the fact that women are attracted to men. When it comes to the fruit you're gonna yield with your children, how they come up, and just to us coming together as a nation, and when I say that, I'm talking to the brothers and sisters that's all in with straightway here, the serious-minded saints, where look, the fruit that's going to be yielded is going to be that light that the Gentiles see. Because this thing's getting crazy, man. And people, what's beginning to happen, and I keep talking about this because I've worked around um, uh, the conservatives, the far right conservatives. And what a lot of people don't know is that their voice, they don't have a mainstream voice out there, really. It's muddled, but there is uh, a far right conservative that has no voice. And the reason why I say it has no voice, a lot of people don't know about it. They're unaware of it. It's huge. Now it's a huge group of these people that are freaking pissed off and fed up with the silliness, and they have no voice. And I'm just telling you, you watch when this next election come around, man. These folk. That's why I'm just trying to get from around all these heathens, because, like I said, next election time come around, these people gonna be going nuts. You already see it happening now, but we got to stay the course, get set apart, come out from among them, and live set apart. Because it's coming to the point, man. This thing is just, you know, I see it at my job. Like all the position, a lot of upper management positions are going to women. I was actually with our company. I was doing an event, and it was about crime reduction in this area town. And this woman, it was funny because it was kind of like a town hall type meeting type deal. And it's funny because this one woman came up, and she was like, I guess she was one of them feminist type. She was like, I got one question, because there was like two pastors up there, a police chief, uh, a doctor who runs some program, and another dude, I think. Well, he was like a retired police chief. One dude was a police chief, active police chief. Another dude was like a retired police chief who ran some programs too. Okay, but anyway, that was who was up there. All, black men. The one dude was white dude. But this section of the city, this particular section has a particularly high rate of crime. And this lady, the one of the pastors, actually both pastors, said some on point stuff that you couldn't run from. They said what needed to be said. They said we need men back in the house, and the family has to be intact. They're like, if the family ain't intact and we don't have that, the proper order, then it ain't nothing gonna work, Now, of course, he couldn't go in like really need the way it really needs to be going into, where it needs to be said that that family needs to be in order. That man needs to be in his role leading that family, and that woman needs to be in her role obedient to that man, and they need to be in that proper role and all that. So, of course, he couldn't say that, because that would have, they would have had to call the cops over there for that. But anyway, a woman came and she, I want to know why aren't there any women up here on this panel? And it was like, and she was saying it in a way like they kept the women out and all this stuff like that. And the person, the lady who was what's that called? Not narrating, moderating. There was a lady who was moderating the whole thing, and she was over the whole program. And boy, she was like stuttering to say, "Oh, well, yeah, we set it up to have some women here, but they didn't. So the women that they had invited didn't show up, it turned out. But it was like, you know, anybody who's really grounded in the truth. Well, let me say this real quick. I'm gonna tell you what popped into my mind, because now this would open my eyes. Is when she said that, I was like, okay, now I see how they do it. Anywhere they see a man dominated group, sport, arena, whatever it is, any male dominated place, they are looking to infiltrate, for the simple fact of, we need to just infiltrate because we need to be equal. Our role is not just this, and that's just what it is. People have been gassed up by this satanic beast system to believe that, hey, to hate the role that the Most High has gave them, to go against the Most High Yah's ways, to go against what's written in His Word in every way, shape, or form. That is what we're moving towards. In every way, shape, or form, they're gonna come against what is written in that book, down to the minute detail. Don't even get me started on this abortion thing. Oh my goodness. Like, I saw some stuff that had me so fired up, where, look, they are aborting almost 1 million babies a day. Okay? Like, it's and Satan's a deceiver. So how would he deceive you? He deceives you into thinking, oh, today isn't as bad as it used to be back in the biblical days. Man, today, the way things are today in this world, we're killing off more people than we've ever in the history of mankind. 1 million babies a day? Are you kidding? And guess what? It's 3/4 of those million babies a day being aborted are Black women. Are you kidding? And I just heard something where they were saying, because look, they're not gonna, them abortion laws can't be struck down. Like where they say they're gonna strike that down, where, hey, you're not allowed to do abortions anymore. Economically, they can't do it, because they were saying how much money that business makes. Because look, they're selling them aborted babies. And some of them aborted babies ain't dead when they abort them. They sell them alive. Come on, dude. It's like, we don't know the levels of wickedness this thing's at. I was talking to somebody, they were saying how they saw a video where a lot of these abortion clinics, Satanists get jobs there because they could do sacrifices. So they'll abort the babies alive, keep them alive so that they can sacrifice. Dude, it's some crazy. Look, tell me if you think I'm lying, if this is far-fetched what I'm saying. Like, does it sound too crazy? Does it sound like some super freak show conspiracy theory, when you could go on YouTube and find videos of Satanists saying, hey, we work at abortion clinics? And it just pisses me off how ignorant Israel is, boy. How ignorant Black folks are. Like, we are so stubborn. Like, there's stuff I can't watch. There's a couple things I can't watch. I absolutely cannot see anything related to abortions, because it just, man, how pissed I get is, it ain't good, but it's a righteous indignation. But, you only can see so much of something before, because I'm about action. So I ain't gonna I'll just put that at that. But the other thing that's very annoying to watch is the anti-abortion protests. And what you see is it's like white women pushing it on black women. Like, and the black women are too dumb to think, like, why they want me to kill my baby? Like, they're so stupid, they can't think through that. And it's and it just comes back to weak ass dudes not being able to stand in the gap. And once again, once the men are destroyed, COINTELPRO, when when COINTELPRO disappeared, it was because they realized that we got to destroy the man with the woman. Once they realized that that's what they needed to do, COINTELPRO went away and everything went dark and went underground, and they launched the ultimate agenda to completely, like the word, like Yah's word says, until they be destroyed. And they destroy. We are destroyed as a nation. You look at Israel, boy, you look at the way we are going, and we are accelerating going down the drain. I mean, it is, we are destroyed. Like we've never been in the whole history of mankind ever. The state and condition of our people is like, I mean, look at the Dwayne Wade family. You know what I'm saying? And compare that to the word. I mean, we are as a nation of people, we are destroyed. And we're not totally destroyed yet. We still got a ways to go. But what I'm saying is, you see the way it's going, and can't go too much further. And there's people who are just, like I said, that right wing conservative base. They are fed up with this stuff. Like them, that group of people, the Republicans. I'm talking about the far right ones, the ones that Donald Trump mobilized, or whatever, you energize, whatever the word is they use. That group of people is ready. Like all the ones I talk to are literally ready to take up arms and all this stuff. And I ain't part of that. I ain't got nothing to do with that group. The right wing and the left wing are both wings of the same bird. I am coming out from among them, and I'm gonna let them fix each other. They'll cancel each other out. Talk about cancel culture. They'll cancel each other out. Most High said, "Come out from among them, be set apart," and I'm doing that in every way, shape, or form possible. Physically, where I live, spiritually, with the people I associate myself with, all that, I'm coming out from among them. We got it, because it's insane what's going on out here. So yeah, man, it's real talk. You know, we it's just another step in it. And I'm gonna tell you, say this was happening. We need to follow Yah's ways. We need to let let the Most High guide our footsteps. If you don't, you're gonna be forced to make a choice. Like this thing is getting pushed, and um, like I'm trying to think. There's so many fronts is getting pushed on, that they're pushing this agenda on. You literally, I'm trying to think of one. Like I look at when, like even like me, I'm an aircraft mechanic. There's a lot of women coming into that, you know, and the environment I work in is pretty grimy, you know. Um, when you everywhere you look at, like I said, you look at the movies. I don't know what is on television anymore or media. Um, I stepped away from television probably about 3, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I just stepped away from television altogether. But from what I heard, when I hear people talk, they pushing this thing hard, like the whole, you know, gay for, excuse me, agenda. They pushing it hard on television. That's what I heard. Why would you even want to watch that? Like, why would you want to try to? I heard, I heard a Hebrew saying, "Oh yeah, when I go to the movies, yeah, now when I go to the movies, it's just a matter of time. I just wait for the part to see who's gonna, you know, be the gayfer or whatever." Um, and I was like, wow, really? You subject yourself for that? Like the last movie I went and saw was, I don't know, it was some movie for the children. But we can't do that anymore. Cause check this out. Here go another one. I don't know. I'm sure some of y'all have seen this. There, on the thing with Disney. So like what they were doing down here in Florida was like pushing this thing where they could teach your children about, all homosexuality and all this other stuff from kindergarten or something like that. And they pushing that. And they struck the bill down. Well, Disney World, if you heard, they came against it. They're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And Disney World felt they could come against it because they're a big economic power here in Florida. Well, come to find out, the backstory is what happened in Disney. Disney is powerful. Why is Disney so powerful? Because on a media basis, they influence so many children, the next generation. That's a powerful thing. So the Transformer Gafer community has, realizes that. So what has happened to Disney is they have infiltrated Disney with a bunch of like the people who work, Disney is a big company. So in that company, they formed a bunch of groups, equal rights, this, that, and other groups. And what these groups do is put pressure on upper level supervisors or whatever, CEOs and stuff, to make them move in the direction they want. So if you go online and look at, you can look up the leaked Disney meeting recordings about, the gay for agenda or whatever. You see a meeting it was a meeting or meetings that they've had where the pressure has been put on them, how they've also been infiltrated. They have these people move into these key positions to take over that company. And now all this is new. This is about a month, 2 months old, y'all. So listen, so what Disney is doing is their move, because, and this thing was a catalyst with them striking down the mayor here, said, no, we're not teaching the children that. I don't care what you say, Disney. And he did something to Disney to shut them up. So what Disney is doing in return is they going full out gayfer with their stuff. They said everything, like almost, they want all the lead characters or the main characters, at least one of them got to be on that gayfer stuff. Like they get ready to come with it hardcore, y'all. I'm telling you that to say, look, you got to come out of her. A lot of y'all got Netflix or subscribe to that Disney stuff, and that other, all that other, man. Start pulling your children away from that crap. Start breaking them off from it. Get it. I've been leaning on the Saints here. Get rid of. You should start getting rid of them accounts. Unsubscribe. Get your children out of it now. Get them watching something else that's more righteous and set apart. Um, One of the things I want to do is as soon as I get Straightway Florida situated, we one of the first orders of business is getting a studio built where we're going to be at, and we're going to start putting out content, righteous, set apart content that you know, for children and stuff like that, to counter this thing, so that but the main thing is, hey, come out of her. That's the main thing. Come out of her, my people. And what is it? Partake not in her ways. I think somebody posted that in here. Some Well, okay, he didn't post a scripture though. Yeah, somebody want, man, post that scripture in here. I'll read it. But so I saw somebody said, whoa, so sad. And that was what I was trying to hit on. To a certain extent, it is sad that things are going in this direction, but it's not sad for me. For me, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting right now. Like what's going on around me, what I see going on in the world is exciting, because I'm watching the real-time fulfillment of biblical scripture. And it's like there's no other way but Yah's way, no other way but the straight way. You know what I'm saying? And I say, I was talking to some brothers the other day, I think yesterday, and I've heard it said, but I get it and I say it too. Straightway is a name. I think Pastor said it too in his lesson, but Straightway is a name that Pastor gave the ministry. So, hey, it's Straightway, boom, boom. But at the end of the day, the real saints are walking out the word here. That's where I see it. I'm watching it get done. We're living it. We're not talking. We're not doing endless videos day after day, month after month, week after week, year after year, endless YouTube videos, studying the Bible, ever learning and never coming into the knowledge of the truth. No, we see what's being done. We see what's being taught. We see what is written in the word, and now we're doing it. And I don't see anybody else doing it. I need to make a list and call all these ministries out by name and show how they're not doing it. No, I don't see people selling what they have and moving in with these people that they so-called fellowship with. I don't see them coming together with anything. I don't see them trying to really sacrifice and have all things in common and give off and really get into it. I see a lot of people just watching videos just like they watch Netflix. You could lose me with that. Like I'm on something else that got lit in me where it's like, man, dude, if you ain't doing this thing, I really can't really rock with you on any meaningful level. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in the game, playing, running, or if you're not on the field, I really can't rock with it like that. I'm gonna still pull that video up. Let me. I got. Oh, I actually spelled the dude. No, I spelled it wrong. So let me see. I think I got it here. Let me see if this is it. Huh.
As we've been told, the tide of war is receding, and it's just not true. As Jocko said in his retirement speech, the nature of war does not change, and we're going to always have to understand what the reality of that is like. And I think this idea that America.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna watch it again. And that dude, Leif Babbitt, like that's some like ain't no softness in, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like what this society try to do is almost make you feel, not almost try, they try to make you feel bad to be a man. Like, oh, you bad, naughty temptation. You shouldn't like, you shouldn't get horny. You shouldn't, you shouldn't be confident. You know, oh, your ego. Ooh, oh, why are you so aggressive? You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Like, dude, like I don't like being around soft dudes. It's like it's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But what they? Oh, you need to cry more. What? You know what? You need to express your feelings and all that soft, flowery. Come on, like let's get back to real masculinity. Like, how about be tough and stop quitting? But man, I like this dude here because he's really you could just pick up, yo, it's a real dude. You know what I'm saying? All right, but anyway, we're gonna listen to this real quick. The nature of war. Like this is good. All right. So let me give me a sec. I'm gonna switch it over real quick. And I'm gonna get it shared up here. Cause man, I just like watching this video. All right, hold on. Oh, I could have just switched over. Okay. I'm still learning. Like I said, when I set up Combat Studio, y'all gonna know. But in the meantime, uh just endure the suffering on the way I do the videos now. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so y'all give me a sec. Y'all bear with me. Y'all being very patient. Appreciate it. Okay, so like I said, this Leif Babbitt talking about the realities of war. You know what I'm saying? And it says, the Lord is a man of war. Yahuwah is his name. It's all through the book, warfare and combat. And it's like the word is inundated with that. But the only scriptures, a lot of these soft ass tiptoeing through the tulips, fake daggone, don't get me started. Hebrews they go to the softest, most sensitive scripture they can find that ain't even a thread through the book. Like it's not even a main thread to talk through the book, and they just run over to that one because they could be soft if they get to that scripture. Well, the word says, nor the effeminate will make it into the kingdom. Okay, that's one of the things, that's another scripture Moses need to read and make sure ain't no softness in you, no effeminacy, if that's a word. All right, we're gonna play this video, man. This is my joint here. I like hearing it. This here get me excited.
Tell us a story about buds.
So buds is the basic SEAL training that you see on TV and that you see people carrying logs on their heads and boats around and doing push-ups and pull-ups and getting wet and sandy. And the reason that I don't talk about buds a lot is because it's a tiny, tiny fraction of what the SEAL teams is all about. Mm-hmm. And in fact, when you get in the SEAL teams, you realize that buds is nothing more than a screening process.
Hey, real fast, y'all. Again, like the reason I played this the last time, and I want y'all to listen to this video for that reason and for the other reason of, how intense true warfare is. And then I'm going to bring it all the way home with the fact that it's the same in the spiritual nature. That's why it's the man's job to be the head. Okay. But the original reason I brought this up is because where he's talking about buds training, that's the SEAL's initial demo training. and then he's going to compare it to actual warfare. I'm going to just say that much, and I'll chime in later on. But just listen to this. I'm not going to interrupt again.
To weed out people that don't really want to be there. But if you compare it to what you have to do once you get in the teams, it's actually nothing. Because there's no way that you can compare, hey, you got to go get in cold ocean water and then roll around in the sand. Oh, no. And I always think back to the first time when I was at Camp Corregidor, and I'm rolling out on the first major operation we were doing in the Malab district of Ramadi, and there's tires burning the street, there's smoke, you can hear the gunfire. Getting wet and sandy and being cold is a joke compared to that. So that's why the whole buds thing is something that I just, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. And I think some guys try and turn it into a big deal, especially if that was kind of the highlight of their career, was going through SEAL training. Yeah. But if you were in the teams and you deployed overseas, then that shouldn't be the highlight of your career. It shouldn't be the highlight of your knowledge. It shouldn't be the highlight of the man test that people like to consider. Buds, not a man test. It means you didn't quit being cold. Good job.
And to that point, I think it's, for those folks that didn't really get tested in combat or didn't get a chance to go out on the battlefield and experience the just incredible physical nature of combat and how difficult it is, then buds is like everything, and so they talk about buds all the time, and so it's kind of this legendary thing. And look, it's a great training program. It's been around for a long time. It screens out the people that don't have the characteristics, as Jocko said, that we think are going to be successful, and it works. And we should keep those standards high, and we should push that. I thought buds was a pretty good time. We had some great times in buds. I love the guys I went through buds with, most of them, but it's got nothing on combat. And it's interesting that some of the big political discussions today, one of them is the integration of women into the SEAL teams, into special operations, into infantry units, and everyone's always focused on, well, if they can meet standards, and if they're if they can make it through training, then they should be able to go out and serve, right? And they're focused on training, and the people that are talking about training at the highest levels, because they don't know what it's like to be in real combat, and real combat is infinitely harder than the toughest. I mean, why are we talking about integrating the NFL, where you got huge, big, strong guys that are smashing each other, and yet that's, maybe you get a concussion, maybe you tear your ACL, maybe you break your elbow, or snap your wrist. You're not going to get killed. Very rarely does someone get killed in the football game, right? Where combat is infinitely harder than that, infinitely more difficult than that, and so. And unlike a football game that's over in just a couple of hours, you're talking about something that can last weeks, months, even years. And it's just the physical nature of combat cannot be overstated. It is incredibly difficult. And when people are shocked to hear that, like, hey, tell me some stories about buds. Like, buds is carry some locks, man. Don't quit. Okay, I mean, it's make it through. It's combat where you're. And you'll see it too. Guys who excelled in buds because they're great athletes, sometimes will go to the battlefield and they're like, I remember the first time that I saw an IED going off about a block away from me. And we were sitting on the rooftop in a sniper position. This was my first deployment before Jocko and I were working together. And all of a sudden, there's a 100-foot fireball that goes up in the air. I mean, the blast wave hits me and just knocks me on my ass. And just metal fragments and shards of concrete and stuff just raining down all over the place from a block away, from us. And it was like, damn, that is not something I want to be standing on or riding in a vehicle when you hit that thing. And when you see something like that, like just the kinetic energy of a rounds coming in, and just think of the biggest, strongest guy you can imagine with a sledgehammer just smashing a wall next to you, and multiply that times 700 or 800 rounds a minute for a belt-fed machine gun. And I mean, it's incredibly difficult and dangerous and overwhelming. And so you see some of the toughest guys that did well in buds, you're like, ooh, not necessarily eager to go out in that. And so it's a whole new level of difficulty. and it's just it can't be overstated. So I think that it's the difficulties of combat again just cannot be overstated. People need to understand what the reality of that is like, and I think this idea that America is not going to we kind of dictate the nature of wars, and as we've been told, the tide of war is receding, and it's just not true. As Jocko said in his retirement speech, the nature of war does not change, and we're going to always have to fight wars. We're going to always have to be in difficult conflicts. We don't get to choose that, and so we better be ready for those difficulties.
In the late 90s,
So, but yeah, so he just going into the difficulties of wars and what they're trying to do, and what he said that you might have missed, but what he was saying is the people who are trying to integrate the military and get women into combat. What he's saying is the military training, let's say for SEAL, the training that they go through is the highest, most extreme training that they can do to prepare them for combat. But what he said is nothing is going to prepare you for combat, because there's no training that's going to replicate that or prepare you for that level. They could do all they can to prepare you, but it requires way more even than the training. So if somebody just barely making it through the training, then they get into combat. You see what I'm saying? He's saying it's a whole nother level on that thing. And it's the silliness of what they're trying to do. And like I said, this is already blown up in their face once. And it's because it happened so quick with the UFC when they integrated the UFC, and that man went in there and started fighting. Now I think they said, hey, we don't do that anymore, because they were actually saying how a man's calcium matrix is different than a woman, where his bones are actually heavier. His muscular makeup is different, is thicker, so pound for pound, it's going to be more muscle on that man. His reaction time, this is science. His reaction time is quicker. And they were talking about how, I was watching this video of how Serena Williams played against the number. Now Serena Williams, like the number 1 rated women's player, and she played against, and look it up, it was like the number 200th ranked tennis player, men's tennis player. She played against him. And so, like, for all intents and purposes, he's a scrub out there in the tennis world, for his ranking. And this dude wore her ass out. And Serena Williams, like, wow. It's like, man, this dude, like, he was so quick and everything. So, I mean, it's like I said, the Most High's truth is everywhere. Like, his laws are in everything he built. You know what I'm saying? And he wrote it all down in plain English for us to see. It ain't complicated. And that brings me back to the next thing of what I was talking about earlier with these so-called Hebrews out here. It's the same thing with that war analogy. When you sit there, you look at these Hebrews, like I said, I was all out there in this whole Hebrew Israelite thing with a lot of these groups and assemblies and stuff out there. And it's one thing to be studying it. That's just like going through the buzz training, but actually getting in it and doing it is a whole, I can't tell you the number of people I watch come in. They come in the straight way. They're like, yeah, I'm serious, this, that, and the other. It's like they just came out of buzz training. And then they go into real actual combat. And the Al Udeed explosion that the dude said he seen and all that, that's getting rebuked the first time. When somebody got to get corrected, and then they could take that. And then the other thing is getting corrected, taking it, but actually making the change. You see what I'm saying? It's all in the book. It's all in there. All these deep intellectual Hebrews, they be studying all this stuff and reading the Bible backwards in Hebrew. Yeah, I know how to read this and articulate that, and I studied this and this artifact and this DNA, and they know all this deep stuff about all this stuff that's written in the Word. But the surface level stuff that's all through the book, that's plainly understandable all through the Bible, they can't do it. So they're not about that real combat. So it's the same thing. You know, one thing, all these people talk about it, all this, but when you experience the real combat, actually walking this thing out, then you understand. Then you understand why the man needs to be in the role as the head. And then you understand why you need that woman in the position that the Most High Yah has put that woman in. You see it. It just makes sense. It's plain. Because like I said, you got these Hebrews out here, they will go through the Bible. I've watched them. I could call the assembly out that did it, that I watched do it. Multiple assemblies actually. Go through every scripture clearly stating the man's role, and they'll sit there with their Hebrew intellectualism and go break down and show you how the man and the woman are equal, and that the man really, it doesn't need to be in that position, and this, that, through all their intellectual scholastic studies and all this crap that they don't know because they ain't did nothing, you know. And they'll show you how, oh yeah, the roles are really reversed and this, that, and the other, and they ain't never been in combat, so they don't know. They don't get why the man needs to be the head. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, man, it's not complicated, but it can be difficult. Changing, you know, it is. It's a sacrifice, you know. So it's laughable, but yeah, the other thing I want to say is the reason why I'm excited is because that light, I said it earlier, but I say it again, that light that these Gentiles are going to see is beginning to glow. You know what I'm saying? Where our footwork and our walk and our behavior as Hebrews is beginning to show versus what these heathens are doing, whether they black or they white, they heathens. Why that way is just not fruitful. It don't work. And our way, the fruit is coming forth. Why? It makes sense. And when you're, you know, just my 3 years, my 3 quick short years that I've been in Straightway, but also been in Straightway and been trying to be obedient to and follow the example that I see the leaders and the heads and the people who are truly a part of Straightway, the example that I see them lay out, the walk that I see them walking, the teachings that I hear them teaching, and I've tried to be obedient to that. And as I come in more lockstep to the walk that they're walking, the fruit that I see coming forth. Look at this. Ain't that Satan? You see that in there, y'all? You see that? That's how you know I'm hit. That's the confirmation that I'm coming straight down the middle on a video. I'm getting ready to head over there and remove that out. It's just somebody putting something on there, you know. But I thank the Father, because that, for me, that's confirmation that I'm banging on Satan's kingdom hard. Anytime that come in there, y'all know it. Y'all done seen it every time, boy. Anytime I'm coming straight down the middle, that's what you get. But praise Yah, because I could hide him from the whole channel. So poof, he's gone. But yeah, so it's just y'all is real, man. And something I want to speak on is something else that amazes me. We have people that this is gonna be another show I'm gonna have to do, because a lot of people don't see it. And when I say a lot of people don't see it, it's like a lot of people don't see the storm clouds of the end times forming in the distance on the horizon. And they're getting closer and closer, larger and larger. And it's like, if you can't see that you need your brothers and your sisters, that you need them, if you can't see the need for obedience, you know what I'm saying? To obey, to do what the word says. If you're gonna see it, because and the Most High, yeah, he's patient, but he's slowly and steadily ramping these end time events up. You know, and the other thing a lot of people are gonna see very soon is that, look, Yah ain't dealing with some people. He just is not dealing with them. He's not dealing with them. Some people, Yah, he not in it, and that's a real fact also. But it is it is that time, man. We see what's going on. So let me see if I got any other points I want to hit. And I'm also go to the comments. If y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, definitely put them in there. Let me see. All right. So we have, make sure I hit everything I wanted to hit. So yeah, but the long or the short of it, y'all, what y'all got to keep in mind is when you break down the roles of man and women, when you try to break that down, you break a nation down. You break down the family, you break down the community, and you break down the nation. And when you get the man and the woman in their proper biblical roles, you begin to build that relationship. You begin to build that family. You begin to build that community, and you begin to build that nation. And a lot of brothers and sisters, again, when you get into this thing, you see how stubborn Israel is. You see how, as a you see that curse that's on us as a nation of people, as a people, as a group of people, is stubborn. You see how these women wrestle. When I say wrestle, I didn't say fight. I said wrestle. It's more intense and consuming. How they wrestle with getting in their biblical role. You see these men, and because it starts with the men, you see these men of how a spirit of fear has just been perpetuated on them from being real men, from being fearless. They're just like most men, their default response is excuse making. Like they're comfortable making excuses and continuing in mediocrity and not stepping up and fighting and going to war. Like how many men shy away from confrontation and conflict, how that spirit has been perpetuated on them from a young age. They have been feminized and destroyed and spiritually castrated. You see it, how destroyed these men are, and how biblical It is. And, it's just something that has to be continually exhorted. And let me hold on one second. Okay. Exhort. Strong. When I say continually exhorted, the definition is strongly encouraged or urged to do something. And I gotta urge the brothers to man up and not man down. Don't go with this society and man down and be weak. Pick what you men need to do is pick a small strategic area of your life to wage war and be strategic with it. Think it out. Pick something that you can defeat and win against. A small area to begin, and that's how you wage war against this thing. That's a spiritual combat tactic. You can't fight everybody off. You gotta. How did Joshua go in and take the land? One city at a time, one battle at a time. Okay, and he fought and waged war. And going back to Joshua, Yah said, "Only be strong and of good courage." And a lot of brothers are not strong and they lack the courage. And you brothers, you have to pray for it. When I mean this, man, I see it with a lot of brothers, man. They got all the tools. They got the spirit. They got the truth. They got teachers around them. They got the deliverance there. It's all there, just like it's always been. Yah is always there. They got the prayer. They got the fact. They got all the tools. They got everything to wage war. They just won't pick up their sword and go to war. And it's plaguing us. I see it around with saints in this thing, man. They can't figure out why they're stuck. They look back at the past year and they see no change. They're still wrestling with the same shit. They're not, and they're stuck. And they just what was that word Pastor used that time? Mental fortitude. They lack the mental fortitude. And it was a thing that was in Israel when all Israel was on the hill. And they had everything we have today and more, because Yah was directly dealing with them. That whole army was on the hill scale except one, King David. He came down off that hill because he had the mental fortitude. Brothers and sisters, y'all got to take action. Telling you, man, you brothers and sisters need to take action. Stop being stagnant. It don't got to be some big, intimidating war you got to win with one battle. Find a small battle that you know you could win and start kicking ass. Pray to Yah. Seek the Father. Pray, fast. Seek the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Y'all put a 100 up in there if y'all understand what I'm saying and if that makes sense to you. Because I'm a exhort y'all, okay, to take action. Okay? Hold on one second. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing nothing mean. I'm encouraging brothers and sisters, hey, take action. It's time. Stop. It said, be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourself. A lot of people will deceive themselves. Like, if you want to see a lot of people deceiving themselves, go look at the so-called Hebrew Israelite community, where they're reading all this stuff that they're supposed to be doing, but they're not doing it. But because they're talking about doing it, they've deceived themselves into thinking they're doing it, but they're not. And that is why you don't see any fruit anywhere in that so-called Hebrew Israelite community. Any of these assemblies and ministries out here in the Hebrew Israelite community, they cannot show you anything showing that they're functioning like a nation. I haven't seen it. Only place I've seen Hebrews functioning like a nation is among the saints that are in straightway. That's where I've seen people functioning like a nation, like Yah intended. I don't see it anywhere else. I don't see anybody. I don't see people growing spiritually or anything else anywhere else but here. There's a measure of spiritual growth you can get that I have seen in the Hebrew Israelite community, but you hit a wall because it's always going to get to that point where it's time to take action. Okay, it's time for the works to truly come forth, and you can only go so far before you come together and have all things in common. Love your brother as you love yourself. How are you going to do that when you barely see him? When you see him maybe once a week for a couple hours. Put a facts in there if that's big old facts. Because I'm just trying to exhort, strongly encourage y'all to do something. Y'all think I'm playing with that word. Let me go back to it. Hold on. Y'all know I like sharing that screen. Here it is. See? There go the definition right there. Okay? Where are you not taking action? Why are you in an assembly? You know, I'm just thinking back to my past. It's like, man, some of these assemblies I've seen, some of these or Hebrew groups, whatever. Why aren't we coming together? Like, check this out. Ooh, this is good. Check this out. This will drive my point home. Why do I see Asians functioning more righteously according to the word than people who call themselves Hebrews and claim to have all this knowledge? Like, I see Middle Eastern Arabs and people from these other countries come in and stack up in a house and live communally and live amongst, because when you put a bunch of people in the house, you have to be selfless. And I see these other nations do that better than I see people in the so-called Hebrew Israelite community out there. People who call themselves Hebrews and all that, but you get, hell, they could barely stay married, let alone come in a house and all that stuff like that. So why is that? Like, what is that? That's some curses on you. Y'all, a lot of y'all walk in the curses, and Satan's a deceiver, so you don't even realize that you walking in sin. King David's prayer was, cleanse me, O Yah, from secret sin, from sin that I'm not even aware of. He asked Yah to cleanse it and bring it to light. That's real talk. But that's why these people ain't showing fruit. They just doing videos, and they just a glorified CNN or a glorified, what do you want to call it? With Wikipedia, they're glorified college history course, or they're glorified philosopher. That's it. and everybody just watches them for entertainment. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got. I wanted to, man, that's just been on me. Felt led to really bring that out. Anyway, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Straightway, Florida down here. We down here in Jacksonville, Florida. We are shaking heavy and moving hard in time. You know, the fruit will be on public display. I mean, if you're part of the Straightway Florida Assembly, y'all probably beginning to see fruit, but here in the short term, most High willing, a lot of fruit will be on display, you know, as we continue to do the work and we continue to have faith with works, okay? Because you are going to know us by our fruit. You will know them by their fruit. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, that's all I got. I appreciate all y'all tuning in. I see a good group of people came on today. My views went up about that much, you know what I'm saying? But you know, all praises as long as, hey, the Most High got you know, remnant with ears to hear. So praise y'all. Y'all continue moving forward, man. Take what I said, man. Get after this thing, y'all. So anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. Shalom. Shalom.